Welcome, fans, to another episode of the Caffeinated Librarians. Katie is back in action. She survived her Braveheart ordeal in London, in Ireland.
Oh, it wasn't in London.
In Ireland.
Scotland.
And Braveheart's
Simona.
in Scotland.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Simona is not with us, though. She is traveling. I think she's in... I don't know. I was going to say Japan. I got nothing. I didn't plan this one out.
Wales, you want to say?
I like it.
I don't know.
Joe,
Yeah.
I'm going to send you something
I
about
didn't-
this podcast.
I didn't plan this one out as much as I planned
Just
out
for
the
you.
Katie intro when she wasn't here. Anyway, today begins our musical series discussion, and we're talking about Katie's pick. Katie, take it away.
So the movie's called Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, and it's based in like what would be called like the frontier out west.
It's in Oregon.
Oregon.
It's in Oregon.
It's in Oregon.
They
Yeah.
said it was in Oregon.
It's in Oregon.
In 1850 Oregon.
Oh, is that when it took place?
Yeah.
1850?
Yeah. And one of the main characters leaves his cabin and goes into town and is looking for a bride because they're all men living in this one cabin and they need a woman's touch. And
Who
thus
doesn't?
and thus begins the
They want free labor.
Yeah, they want a cook and a cleaner.
goal. Yeah, a wife
Ooh.
back then in
that's,
1850s.
Yes.
I mean, Amanda.
There are many times when I watch older films and I say, wow, you know, this feels much more modern than I'd expect it to be.
Yeah.
This feels very, you know, it feels much like, I guess, you know, humans are the same. But this is not one of those times.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. This one.
With the slightest tweaks, this is the scariest horror film.
Well, it's based
Imagine
off
from
of
the perspective of the women.
Well, it's based off of a play, and
Which I learned was actually based off of...
The Roman legend of the rape of the Sabine women.
yes,
I didn't know that was a thing.
and that comes into play throughout the movie.
Because, you know, they just love being kidnapped. Women love that.
Oh my god.
Yes. Well, this movie is
I think
definitely
that's the-
dated.
Wasn't that the story they were reading too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was she reading the same book over and over again?
Yeah, that was just all she was drilling into them, which kind of makes, I don't know, that's a weird story to be telling a bunch of women who were just kidnapped.
It is,
And they
right?
got it read to them 3 times while they were in, like, you know, confined.
Yeah, right.
They're like, we read this book 3 times.
Well, I love it for the sheer fact of not so much the singing but the dancing. The brothers, the men who play the brothers, are all. If I don't know if you guys noticed it through the credit run, they were all on loan from the New York City Ballet Company, so they're all professional dancers.
Tell with those legs.
Mm-hmm.
They were stomping.
Yeah.
There were some stomps going on.
I think like my favorite scene is the barn raising scene where they all have kind of like this dance off.
Yeah, that and
Very
the
West
barn
Side
raising
Story.
was the best stuff of the
Yeah.
movie. That was awesome.
Yeah, and I used to watch this channel on YouTube called like Watch Mojo, and they do like lists, and one of them was like the hardest dances ever to be put to screen, and I think that was up there on the list for being like the hardest choreographed dance.
It looked difficult.
Was that scene? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
well, that's why I like the movie. Everyone else, what did your thoughts were? I don't think I have.
Great cinematography. The CinemaScope was banger. Like CinemaScope in musicals, I love that stuff. I like having a wider area for dancing. I think that's cool.
It looked beautiful, right?
Yeah, great color too. You know, it's a 50s movie. They love those bright, saturated colors. Sadly, the catchiest song is the one about how women love to be kidnapped. But that one was pretty good.
Amanda.
I
Which song was that?
Sobbing women, when he's like sobbing women.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's telling the brothers, just go out and kidnap
That's
them.
right. Yeah.
You gotta do what the Romans did. You gotta go kidnap them if you want.
Yeah,
he's the worst person.
Okay, I can't get over one of the women was named Dorcas.
Mm-hmm.
That's a normal name, yeah, during that time.
That's a normal name for a woman?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, I've heard it. The girl in Wednesday was named Dorcas.
Was
I
Dorcas?
don't know. Wednesday.
They're all
Dorcas the
religious
tall one?
names, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, that's
Dorcas?
She was Julie Newmar.
Well, did you
she
hear
ended
the
up being
names?
Catwoman.
Oh, because she was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
She was gorgeous.
Well, did you hear the name she wanted to name her daughter, and they chose the normal name?
Oh,
She was
yeah,
like Hannah
Hagar?
or Haggard, and I'm like, thank God he went with Hannah,
Yeah, right.
and I'm like, thank God.
Well, honestly,
Your generations will thank you.
That's a smart move. You give two horrible options and then the option you really want,
Yeah.
so that he's forced to pick the normal option.
Ah.
Because you're not going to name the kid Haggard or Hermandinger or whatever it was.
Hermandinger.
She was like, I wanted to stick with an H name, and I was like, those are the three you landed on? Hannah Hargard and Hermandinger or whatever? I was like, oh my goodness. Alright. When Adam shaves his beard, did he give anybody else Ron Burgundy vibes?
Yes.
It all comes back to Anchorman for you, doesn't it,
That's
Lewis?
immediately what I thought.
That guy is so big.
The red hair
huge.
dye budget
Right.
on this film.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Oh, I bet.
They were all huge.
Yeah.
Like even his other brother that I think was with Dirkus.
Dirkus.
Like I'm looking at all these dudes and I'm like, they were like genetically made.
Yeah, the
somewhere.
only one who wasn't gigantic was Gideon,
Yeah.
Russ Hamlin.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
gonna
love-
lie,
Dude.
to have 7 redheaded sons, you have to be like a pure-blooded like ginger family. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm looking at it like as a redheaded woman myself, as a kid I was like, I'm gonna have a big family with a bunch of redheads because I'm gonna like, carry on the redhead bloodline gene thing. But
Is
this,
Brian redheaded?
no, he is not.
You know that
It's very-
family tree looks like that.
It's like, how did she? I once, when I worked at GameStop, encountered a family where it was a husband and a wife, both redheads, and they had like 3 redheaded children. So I know it's possible, but it got me thinking on this movie, and I was like, they had.
Did you like help them like extra well, knowing that they like? Do you help gingers better than you help like brunettes?
No. But my biggest compliment, if you ever want to get on my good side, is always telling me, "Oh, I love your hair," and I'm like. Whenever I go to the hairstylists, they're like, "Oh, I love the shade and color of your hair," and I'm like, "Thanks." If there's anything going for me, it's that.
Nice.
So I'm like, "Nice, thanks." And they're like, "Oh, so full, so thick of your hair," and I'm like,
I
"Thanks."
had a barber once. He was trimming the back of my the back, bottom of your head here.
Yeah.
Like that part. And then they go a little deeper, and the only thing that's equivalent to that for me was he said, "Oh, you got a hairier back."
Oh, no.
Rude. Thanks, my guy. Thanks.
And I've gone to him for about 20 years. He says the same thing every time. He says, "You got a lot of hair back here." I'm like, thank you.
Oh, one thing I noticed. All of the dance scenes looked so dangerous, and then all of the fight scenes.
They're dangerous.
were
But the fight scenes had me laughing. They didn't even put like the big like.
goofy.
They did
I
like
just-
subtle.
Classic Hollywood's crazy because they're just like, no, you're gonna risk your life to do some dances, but for the fights, I don't know, I'm just pretend.
It'll be fine.
Some beautiful choreographed falls and flips.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh my god, when they were walking on that, like
The beam.
just that
The-
beam and
yeah.
like throwing axes around, or when he was on the well thing. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's really dangerous.
When they're traveling in the valley, and then they shoot the guns to get the avalanche to happen. That gun shooting, I was like, come on, guys. Like this is the 50s. There were probably no laws about having real guns on set. They couldn't.
They're probably gonna just.
Yeah, they could have had like some good stuff going on there. I did like at the end when the people are coming to save the women. I'm not sure the women would have.
Some Beauty and the Beast
we're
thing. It's like
enjoying
they
their
took the
stuff there.
women.
And then I think it's Gideon is standing next to Adam, and Adam just goes, "You're standing too close to me." I was like,
Get away from me.
I was almost like, that's just such like a
But it's a
like
brother move, isn't it?
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's almost like it didn't fit, and the actor just didn't want it.
I was like, get away from me.
He claims to be so close with his brother.
You're standing too close. I liked it. I thought it was funny.
Did anyone else notice that Gideon is Red from the 1960s West Side Story?
Yeah,
movie?
he's Riff and
Riff.
Dr. Jacoby from Twin Peaks.
Yep.
I did not notice either of those. Joe did point out the Twin Peaks one earlier to me in our pre-show meeting.
Yep.
But
Russ Tamblin's a cool guy. He did a lot of very strange movies after his Hollywood stint.
oh yeah,
Yeah. I think he was just kind of unpleasant on set a lot because he was like a young guy and I think he was a drunk.
oh
And I think he
yeah.
straightened himself out, but yeah. He did some stuff in Japan. He was in a couple kaiju movies. And
That's cool.
yeah, he was apparently a nightmare over there.
Oh,
A little menace.
But yeah, he's in Frankenstein Conquers the World, which is directed by the director of Godzilla.
no. Wow.
That's funny. This movie had a lot of red flags for me.
Clearly.
I
So,
think it is a
clearly-
little-
I'm gonna break it down.
It's
okay?
a little cringy looking at it from a 2023 lens.
This
for
is the
sure.
cringy kind of movie I enjoy usually watching, but a part of me had me sitting in bed watching this movie going, stop that. Like, stop
Did you
that.
say this is the cringy kind of movie you usually
I
enjoy
enjoy watching, like, when you, like, sit down with friends and you guys put some, like bad cringy movie on. This is the kind of cringy thing
I
I
see
would
what
watch
you're
with my friends because then we could laugh about it afterwards.
see
But a
what
part of me sitting there alone in my room with a dog sitting next to me going, stop that. But, like, okay, so I'm going to break it down. So, the beginning of the movie starts, this redheaded guy, this rustic, big old redheaded guy, and he's selling pelts. 10 pounds of pelts. He knows how to...
Oh, that was the other. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. I want you to.
the 10 pounds of pelts. Are pelts really that valuable? Because
They were, depending on the animal
25
itself.
pounds of tobacco and 63 pounds
Well,
of this.
he was getting what, like $6, which was like good money?
The beaver pelts were really in high demand because they made hats back in like the Netherlands and
Can't
places
get
like that.
25 pounds of tobacco for that nowadays. I'm like, wow, that's
Not in New York.
Anyway, continue.
No.
Oh, man.
So, okay. So the store owners clearly have shown like disgust for this man. They're like, what else do you want? He's like, a wife. And they're like, ha ha. And he's serious. He's like, I just want a wife. So
Well,
he
what does
goes
he
about
want, the
singing
what?
about the thing that he wants, which seems stereotypically, you're like, okay, whatever. He wants a pretty young thing who is like kind of sassy.
And then
But then he proceeds to not give a shit about her. For the entire movie.
Well,
He's like, I want a girl who's sweet,
Yeah,
but kind of
I don't-
sassy. But as soon as she gives him sass, he's like, what are you doing?
How dare you?
Yeah,
woman.
I didn't like when she was like, yeah, no, you're in the doghouse. You made me, you got me here to work for your
When
brothers.
she first gets here, he's
And-
like, and make me food.
And then he gets her water, and she's like, I've been too hard on you.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Come
we
on,
also...
Where's the
this,
sass?
this was also made in the 1950s America as well.
Yeah, but
1850s.
I've seen plenty of 50s
1850s.
movies
The
that do
movie was
afford
made in
women some
1950s.
agency, and like
But
you
they
know,
like
women
completely
existed. They could
backtrack
speak.
the character. They're like, oh, we want a pretty young thing with who's like, you know, a hard worker, which she clearly is. She's a hard-working girl. She manages her farm or whatever. She is a chef
She
at a
does
restaurant who serves many
manage
drunk
a
men
farm.
who have worked hard all day, and she makes good food.
She does.
She's I would consider her during that time period a hard-working
Also,
woman.
who asks for ketchup with beef stew?
He does because
That
he's
was
a filthy heathen.
Disgusting.
And she's like, not with my food. That was the sass. I'm like, yeah, you tell me. He's like,
You know, he's ordering steaks well done with a side of ketchup.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
what's wrong with this man? Well, clearly they're trying to portray this guy as like
That's
he's
Ted
a backwards
Bundy stuff.
country hick with no
Yeah, so we're
accent
the devil's
whatsoever to show it. But
I would have.
So clearly Amanda hated this movie.
The Firefly family.
look, we're
Get
gonna break it
Sid
down.
Hagen here. Actually, this is kind of the setup for House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah,
isn't
right?
it?
Yeah. I can see it.
So they kind of fall in love, and she had other suitor options apparently. The priest guy she was living with, they're like, you can have our sons, any pick of the litter, and she was like, I don't know, it wouldn't feel right. Which, to be fair, she grew up with them, so it might feel like weird.
Brothers.
So I'm like, that makes sense. So she just decides to run away with this big old strong ginger guy. Understandable. I get it. He was handsome. His hair
I
was
like
beautiful
during
for a
the
backwards
barn
hick.
raising scene where they introduce 7 worse guys to be like, nah, we like
Who
these
are
guys.
these skinny
Don't worry.
men? Who
Yeah.
are they? Like, we could take them. I'm like, no, you can't. Have you seen how they eat food? They jump all over to the.
They're terrifying. If I saw the 7 brothers coming
They're
at me,
terrifying.
I know my
Handsome,
time is
terrifying.
numbered.
Like, one of them looks like he reads Shakespeare, which got me really laughing. The one in the yellow shirt, he looks like he reads Shakespeare, like, offset. He's like, yes. But he carries himself.
That's
But, okay,
Caleb.
so he brings her back, and they're having, like, a pleasant little conversation. He then comes home, and she's like, oh, you have 6 other hulking ginger brothers. Redheaded men.
Okay, so the
Um,
guy in the orange shirt was played by a former
I don't know who was the guy
professional
in the red
baseball
shirt.
player. And
There's a guy in the red shirt.
red shirt
He was hot. I had my eyes on
is
him.
Tommy Rail.
Gentleman.
That's Frank.
Frank
He
had
was a
it
dancer
going.
and singer.
Frank had the coolest outfit.
I
He
thought
was the
Frank
most
was the one
handsome.
that was kind of creepy looking.
I don't know what it was. He had a.
Well, if your name
presentions.
was Frankincense.
They even made that joke, I think, during the
Yeah.
movie too.
Yeah.
It's for good sense, and I'm like, I just thought he was making fun of him. I didn't realize that was his name.
But that song that Grizzly Adams sings when he's at the store.
Grizzly.
I mean like that song. He's like walking by and he's like, "Oh, I can't have a woman that's too fat." Basically, like as that poor woman walks by, he's like, "No, she's too big for me."
Too small, too big. What do you want? Like, okay, so she meets these brothers, and then she's in this weird Cinderella-esque story where it's like you got these 7 hulking men who
Snow
never
White.
cleaned a
It
day
was
in the
essentially
That's
like
Snow White.
It was Snow White, but at least Snow White was treated better. She went in and she had animal helpers too, but like she had some animal. She saw the house and I had the same reaction.
You get the
She
sense the
gets in, she's
dwarves
like,
didn't
"Oh,
tell her,
no.
you know, we're real isolated out here, so you can't leave.
You can't leave, and especially during the winter. Once you're in
least-
the winter, you're trapped. That's
You
gonna
know,
be 5 months.
The brothers though, like actually, like they took to her and they took to her lessons.
That's what I
and
thought
stuff
the
like
great
that.
part about the movie, and I thought the movie was like building up, and I'm like, okay, she's teaching them manners,
It's
and they're
what's his
getting it in
face.
their head.
It's Adam.
It's Adam that never-
Yeah, Adam's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to keep. Sorry, I gotta try to watch my language. Adam is a big.
I'm gonna try to watch my language and then she proceeds to curse.
I was gonna say. It's not a curse.
Bad man Adam.
He's bad. He's a bad guy. He's a bad influence. Like all the brothers are like trying their hardest to learn how to like. They're like, this is the first time we ever seen a lady. I'm like, well, he clearly doesn't even bring them to town, so that's sad. He just keeps them cooped up there, these feral children. And so she's like, okay, well, let's learn how to like talk to the fairer sex over here. Okay, let's go. And they do such a good job. And they're dancing, not fighting.
They're dancing.
And I'm like, that was a great scene because they took everything they knew and they were really courting these ladies, and the ladies were like, ah! Which, if you see like 6 beautiful redheaded men, you should automatically just go, ah!
The shade of the red, though, got me.
Yeah, I knew they were fake.
Yeah,
but still,
I was just like,
can
these
dream,
guys
Joe.
look scary.
I can dream. Especially the guy in the red shirt. He was Frank.
That was the one that creeped me
He was
out.
the second tallest one out of the group, and he was the most well built.
I thought
Dancer.
that was the other guy.
He had such beautiful weight. Look at how they did it. I was like, oh.
This
I don't know.
guy,
Yeah, that guy
Amanda?
creeped me out. Yeah, that guy creeped me out.
Which guy?
Frank,
Frank?
I'm looking at him now.
That's the
Maybe
guy- the
I'm
orange-
looking at a different guy.
The orange shirt guy was the one that I was like, oh, okay, that's a good looking guy.
Yeah,
I'm not
orange
telling Red.
shirt looks more...
I don't know. I thought he was kind of handsome.
I don't know, red shirt guy. If you
the
watch
intensity,
if
is
you
it?
watch closely when red shirt guy danced, like he made weird faces. and,
Maybe
like,
it's his side profile. His side profile is
Yeah.
really nice to me. I don't know. Anyways, the guy in the yellow shirt though looks like he literally recites like Shakespeare. Like he does Shakespeare at the park.
The guy
He
in the
looks
yellow
like
shirt
literally
looks like
he's
he'd
going
be
for a
like-
Shakespeare role.
Yeah.
Like at a park eating ice cream by himself. That's the vibe. I get.
Anyways, the movie hit its
This
peak for
episode is
me
just
during.
us bullying 7 dead guys.
So the movie hit its peak for me was the
I
best
just
part.
noticed that they're all wearing different colored shirts.
You didn't realize it, but they gave Adam, because they didn't want to give him pink because it's at the end of the rainbow or something, they gave him like a darker shade of green. Like they have like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and then they're like, what's the other color we can give him? We can't give him pink because pink's not manly in the 1950s.
Yeah.
And so they gave him just a darker shade of green. They gave him like a forest green.
I like
thought that was
forest
fun.
green.
I love the color green. Green's my
Yeah.
favorite.
I
But
know.
anyways, so this movie hit the peak for me, like during the dance scene. I was like, this was great, but then they like reverted back to fighting, which,
Well,
to
so-
be fair, they deserved it.
Yeah.
I was like,
Exactly.
get him,
That's-
get him, get him.
that's
Yeah, I
my
was fine
point.
with that fight. I thought
Yeah,
If I
that
was
fight
like,
was
those guys-
warranted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Those
That
guys-
fight was
fair.
warranted,
Those
yeah.
guys were-
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Joe's gonna have to
and
censor.
honestly, Adam at that point, you know, is like, he's right. He's like, you guys got to stand up for yourselves, and he's
Yeah.
right.
He's like, I don't like what this woman's done to you. How
You
dare
know?
you? That's how he puts
They
it.
kind
He's
of-
like, this woman's made you soft. He's like, y'all, I didn't teach my brothers to be no softy. I'm like, yeah, you know you didn't, but at the same time, yo, they're
I
trying
like
to
how
court
you
the
turned it
ladies.
into like a southern.
That's how it
person
should
that
be.
you're like,
That's how it should be.
shit, raging and
This is a
rain
southern
storm.
drama at this point. This is some southern drama if I've ever seen it, even though it's in Oregon, which is like the Midwest or whatever.
Yeah, no, this could really be a Tennessee Williams play. It's like
It
it's
could.
angled a little differently. We can get there.
So these girls all, you know what's weird? These girls seem to always be together, which is fair because women used to like, you know, make friends in their little small towns, communities, stuff like that, do their knitting,
Used
whatever
to.
the crap they do.
People still make friends in small towns.
Disgusting. No, they don't.
No one is friends anymore.
They pretend. I'm looking at you. So they all seem to know each other. They all go to church together. They all do their thing. Yada yada yada. They all were in the same house during the kidnapping scene. So the movie like started to slow down.
I don't think they were all in the same house.
They weren't in the same house.
Oh, it
they were
seemed like they were in the
no,
same. The
they
way
were
cut it
different.
I
seemed
think
like-
they're just close. The houses are close together.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. So after the dance scene, everyone's sad because they reverted back to their feral ways, and I'm over
But
here
they
like
had
they
to.
deserved it. They didn't know, nobody else knew, and that's awful. They should have won, fair and square. They were big hulking guys who knew what they were doing. They built their own barn. They probably built their own house. They built a cabin.
Yeah, and they were gonna win that contest. And first off, what a stupid contest, because like you need to connect all
It's
the parts.
community. It's
But
community
you
work.
need to connect all the parts. I mean, like you can't like build one side of the house and say, "All right, we did it." I'm like, no, you got to connect it to the other side of the house too. Like,
It's all about community. It's
Right.
whoever. It was the point was to raise the wall first
Yeah.
and got it to
and
stay.
they did it.
And they would have done it had they not gotten hit by hammers like every fight. I like the
Yeah.
one where the
And plywood and
the one
everything.
where the plywood falls down on him. Like what? Did anybody see the scene like during the dance scene where the guys fall off the roof? The three
Yeah.
guys- I'm like, where did they come from? They're doing the dance battle and they fall off the roof. They're like 3 of them. And I'm like, where did you come from? How'd you get up there? Stop that. That's dangerous. You're too little to be, you know. You're not that built to be doing that kind of activity. They're wearing like really nice suits. I don't know. Anyways, so they go home defeated, feeling grumble. Adam is on his sexist rampage again. He's just like, you know what? All the men are feeling lonely. They're like, I fell in love with a beautiful woman. Adam's never felt love at once in his life.
Well, also, did he love her though? You could
No,
argue.
he saw her and she just fit the need.
And I mean, when he's talking to Gideon on the stairs, he says something like, "Oh, one woman's the same as the next."
That's what he
and,
says, and she hears it.
Yeah.
And she's like, get out. Get.
And then he leaves,
I would have left him sleeping in that tree.
and he just like abandons them for the winter. Somehow he survives in some cabin.
No, that's after the kidnapping incident. That's after the kidnapping. So he tells his brothers, just do what the Romans did and just go kidnap your women. And they're like, yeah. I think they're a little hesitant at first, but they're like, yeah. And so they go and kidnap these women, which is really kind of, it's really, but it's really kind of funny how they do it. They like wait outside their window, bunch of creepers. And what made me laugh is the first set of girls they kidnap. is they just throw them at the other, like, oh, you've got mine. And they throw it back to the other guy, and I'm like, stop. First off, I was like, stop. And the other person, like, does the cat noise. Meow, meow. Window. I'm like, don't fall for that.
That was Gideon.
Don't do that. That was Gideon. And then the guy goes, he's like, don't worry, I got it. Like, one of the guys finds him. And the guy comes up from behind the fence meowing again. And I'm just like, what is... It's awful. And then they're in the back, and they're getting chased, and they're trying to, like, shut her up. We're by the avalanche, but shut her up. And I'm just like, oh my god.
So Amanda hated this movie.
It made me laugh, but also I was like, there's so... Adam is not redeemable for me. All the brothers actually learned to love someone, although they went about it the wrong way, and then the girls got Stockholm Syndrome to, like, fall in love with him because they were stuck there for a couple months. I want to know how this girl got pregnant. Because
1950s.
She hated him. She hated him every moment. Like, every moment we saw with him, she was like, get out.
Well,
Go away. You're saying mean things. I don't want to do nothing.
It was that first night. It had to happen that first night.
Oh, God. And it's also 1950s. No women weren't shown as being pregnant.
That's fine. I didn't mind that. But it was just the fact that every instant she got, she had a fight with the guy. And she was like, go sleep in the barn. Go sleep over here. Go sleep in a tree. And then she'd, like, forgive him, I guess. Fine. Whatever. Clearly it shows that they did the deed. And she still allowed him. Despite all the really he said to her.
Maybe
or about her. Because I thought he was kind of growing at first. Like, he would grow, like, with the brothers. And the only time he got it through his thick skull is when Gideon comes out and she's already had the baby. He's like, you have a baby. He was like, no way, this is going on Maury. And he's like, no, it's yours. It's a girl. And he was like, I got to thinking, if my kid got kidnapped. I'm like, it took you that long.
It took him an entire...
What about your wife? What if someone came and kidnapped your wife? Would you still... I'm like, well, you think so little of her.
So Amanda hated this movie.
There was just a lot of, like... The brothers were, like, the best part because, as I said, they learned to love. They learned what love was, and kind of like in a better way than Adam did. Adam took, like, a whole... And then I just don't like how happy the ending was. I was like, no, it shouldn't end in this. The pastor just shows up, and they're like, no, Daddy, I'm enough. And then just, no. Also, they have to build another house.
They're all going to be hill people together.
It's all just going to be feral children in the hills. It's going to be The Hills Have Eyes. Just all these feral children running around.
Imagine that's the sequel.
Oh, no!
7 Brides for 7 Brothers 2. The Hills Have Eyes.
She was right, it is a horror movie.
Like, it's really a horror movie any way you slice it. You just don't see the horror.
I said I really liked, like, when they were learning to, like, be better people, but Adam was still being like, rumble, 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 rumble. So every second Adam opens his mouth, I'm like, shh, shut up.
Like, if this movie were, like, so there was a remake.
No way!
Yeah.
Stop!
I wonder if the remake, I think the remake was in 82.
What is...
I think it was Indian, though. I think it was a Bollywood film, yeah.
Oh, dude.
It was a Bollywood film?
Because I wonder if if this movie were made in the 80s, there would be like an 80s montage of them learning to be better people. Like, she would be like showing them, like when she's like cleaning them, like, and how to wash their hands and stuff like that. Like, there'd be like an 80s montage with like an 80s song. And it'd be catchy as hell.
Yo, they have guns in the Bollywood version. Let's go.
Oh! How many red flags can I find in that
This
one?
is awesome. Look at this poster.
I like it.
Did you see the poster I sent you?
Yes.
So
Story.
the poster is him kidnapping the woman. That was the poster for the movie.
The story revolves around 7 unsophisticated brothers who are all civilized by Indu, the wife of the eldest brother, Ravi. However, things take a turn when Ravi's lookalike, Babu, is sent to murder Seema Singh, a disabled heiress, by her cunning uncle, Ranjit Singh.
It's worse than
But Babu falls in love with Seema. This is nuts. I'm
Let's
all
watch
for
it.
this. Let's make this a crime
Can we do
thriller.
like if I get the Discord server for us, can we like do a movie night?
Let's do
I'll
it.
download it. I'll get it.
Let's do it.
Sate pe sata. It translates to 7 on 7.
I like it. I like it.
Sorry.
But yeah,
There's a TV series,
I've been
too.
looking into the director of this because it is Stanley Donen. I knew he co-directed Singing in the Rain with Gene Kelly, but this guy has a weird personal life. He was been married and divorced 5 times.
Wow.
It fits.
And then he, in his final years, he dated Elaine May for like 20 years, and he said that he proposed marriage to her 172 times.
Wow, he just wore her out.
Did she say no 100
Yes,
times?
yeah,
Oh.
no, Elaine May did not marry this man.
Wow.
So.
Wait, what?
This is the director of the movie.
Who did he marry?
He did
Or
not
not
marry
marry?
Elaine May, who is a director and comedian. She's awesome.
102
It's
times.
172
72.
times.
I'm glad she kept count. She had the little ticker on. She was like, how many? There was a TV show with Richard Dean Anderson and River Phoenix.
That might have been the thing that I saw.
Yeah, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, and they had an opening theme
Let's
done by Phil Silas.
Let's hear it.
I don't know. I'm not looking that up right now.
Oh my
At 22
god,
episodes.
yes, Stanley Donen hated Gene Kelly. Let's go. He constantly badmouthed him in his later life. Gene Kelly didn't say anything negative about him. Let's go.
I was gonna say, what beef would anyone have with Gene Kelly?
I know.
Who's Gene Kelly? What did he do?
Gene Kelly
Gene-
is a dancer, actor.
Gene Kelly's the man.
Yeah, he
Is
is.
who Gene Kelly is.
I should have had you guys watch Singing in the Rain. I don't think people
Oh,
would
he's in
have.
Xanadu.
Singing in the Rain's just straight
He's
up
in
delightful.
Xanadu.
Yeah, he's the old guy in
Okay,
Xanadu.
I know Xanadu.
And he still tears it up, even though he's like 80 in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was born in 1912. When did Xanadu come out?
80.
1980? Okay, so yeah,
Wow.
he was 68 in that.
All I know.
And he was tap dancing.
Yeah. I should have just had you guys watch
He is
Singing
in
in
the
the Rain.
musical
I didn't
so.
mind this. I mean, it was.
This was a fun time
the-
for me.
the music- I
Colin
love the
Brian
dancing.
told me in
I-
the middle of like
it was-
of the kidnap scene, and I'm like, what the?
Technically
He's just like,
speaking,
what's going on? I'm like,
this
I don't
is
know.
this movie was beautiful. Just
Just.
message wise, it was.
It was a little cringy, but we can laugh at it with a 2023 lens.
Yes, no, I thought it was exceptionally funny. Like I laughed
We can
a
laugh
lot
at its cringe.
at it. I laugh at cringe. I don't think that this would be a movie that probably sit well today.
Oh no.
Oh
Oh,
hell
no.
Hell no.
No,
No. But definitely like
If this
it's
was
a
made
fun
today,
watch to watch with your friends. Like
All in all, I mean, a little cringy, but it was. This was a fun discussion though. Sometimes these cringy ones,
I love
that,
cringe.
or the not so great movies that we watch are. Not to say this wasn't good, but I'm just saying sometimes the cringy ones are when if we watched one that we didn't like, Bubble, hated Bubble. That was a fun conversation.
Yeah.
I love hate
You know.
talking movies.
Yeah, sometimes those are fun. So this was.
I did like the
this was
outfits
enjoyable.
for the ladies. I like
Yeah.
the quilt looking. It really looked like she like made her own outfits out of things that she just found in the house. She was like, they're not using this.
And I really
She's resourceful.
Yes.
The one woman was magnificent. She was beautiful. The one that was like, "Do you ever think they were sleeping in their beds?" I'm like, "Oh, she's a little
You
risque."
should watch the 60s.
All these
Batman.
girls are
She's
risque. They're
Catwoman.
church
I might
girls. They
have
got
to.
secrets.
60s Batman goes hard.
I might
It's
have to.
hysterical.
I might have to watch that.
Lou, they're church girls. They're a little risque. They don't want you to think that, but they're girls and they talk. They're ladies and they talk, and men don't care what they talk about. This is the time period. We care. They're just like, oh, they're talking about lady things, and they're like, did you see Jeremy? He's looking fine. He's a suitor.
So, Katie, good pick.
Thanks.
This was fun. welcome back.
Thank you.
We hope you all enjoyed this conversation. We hope you enjoyed the movie. If you haven't watched it yet, check it out. Let us know what you think. Come and tell Amanda at the front desk. Come and tell Katie at the reference desk. Joe and I usually
If you
lock
are a
our
redhead,
office
I will
door.
treat you nicer.
If you're redheaded, Amanda will be nice to you. If you're not, she won't be.
And come back next week for another musical with a redhead. La La
Yes.
Land.
Yes. With the greatest redheaded actress in film history. Maybe the greatest actress in film history.
That's a lot.
Until then. Godspeed.